United States Air Force.
It's the same bag.
It's the same bag. Same old bag. Something different inside, though. A tie, kind of. A tie with, that is an animal, that's the mother. The Tazmanian devil.
Jesse.
Ties are interesting. You guys know very much about the history of ties? How many of you wish the pastor wore ties more often? You can admit that. Nobody? Okay. Neither does the pastor. Ties originally were for a very unique purpose. In fact, it's similar to the purpose of buttons on your sleeves. Men, back in the ages that these were created, were at least as sloppy, if not sloppier, than men are today. And they used to have some of the same sloppy habits that we have today, that we would clean our mouth, our nose, whatever, on the sleeve of our clothes. So they put buttons on here to stop us from doing that. You try to clean your nose, it's going to mess up your nose with the button. So that's what they apparently now do have them on the wrong side. But that's the history of them. That's why buttons were originally put on cuffs. And so that you would have something that you could use to wipe your face, your nose, they invented ties. These eventually served the same purpose as a napkin. That's what it was for. Tie around your neck. When you eat, when you're done eating, you wipe your face with it. It then came to be something else. It came to be used as a decorative item to wear while dressing, and then became somewhat almost a status symbol, or for many years, for pastors, it was a required uniform. I know of a pastor friend in Illinois that has pastored for a number of years. He has a son my age, so I'll give you some idea of how old he is. But he used to keep his dress pants after they would begin to wear out, and he'd have to replace them. He'd keep them, and he kept a few old white shirts that were beginning to fray a little bit, and some old ties that he would never wear anyplace else, perhaps because they had the Tazmanian devil on them, but something, and he'd put them on, and that's what he would use as his uniform when he would go out to cut his grass, because the expectation was that the pastor would not be seen outside the house without a white shirt and a tie. Seriously. Now, he thanks God those days are gone. I thank God I wasn't called a pastor when those were the days. God had been in trouble. I'm a t-shirt and jeans guy, as you know. Ties can be a lot of fun. Ties, as I say now, very often ties now are worn for the purpose of having fun. I cannot imagine wearing this tie as a serious tie. The Tazmanian devil in scuba gear among a bunch of fish. You imagine putting that on for a Sunday morning sermon. You know, the pastor shows up in that tie. In some churches, that would be appreciated. Jerome Risting owns at least 2 ties down at the temple. One of them is a bright green, brighter green than any green I see here today, even brighter green than your shirt. Has the Grinch on it. Again, I'm not sure that you want your pastor wearing your Grinch tie. Usually you wear those sorts of ties just to have fun. When you decide, okay, I am going to dress up a little bit today, but I'm not going to go overboard. I'm going to wear a fun tie. And that's what this is a fun tie. What does that have to do with anything? So far I've shared with you history. How about it's okay to have fun? Think it's okay to have fun in the Christian life? Sometimes we get too serious. We're speaking of God, and we have to speak it with a solemn, sober tone. I found something very interesting when I read Scripture, especially when I read through the Gospels, where Jesus, it tells the story of Jesus when he lived on this earth. Where Jesus went, parties broke out. Where Jesus went, people had fun. They enjoyed life. In fact, the very first miracle he ever performed was at a wedding feast where he made the wine. Miraculously. Jesus was not a staid, sober, white guy. Jesus had fun. And when He's called us to live life to its fullest, to live a life abundant, He expects us to have fun. It's okay to laugh every once in a while. It's okay to laugh in church. Sometimes the pastor will say something funny. It's okay to laugh. Sometimes the pastor doesn't even realize he said something funny, and it's still okay to laugh. Think about that. There may be a day I show up in a tie like this. And if so, it's okay to laugh. Laughter is good. In fact, Scripture tells us laughter is good medicine. I needed good medicine last week, so I may have needed some laughter. Are we...